You can buy weapons. It's like, who cares? What is this? Does this affect you? Are you going to buy weapons? No. Then what do you honestly care? Um, like their new game Overwatch looks really cool. Krendor was when I was talking to him last week. He wants to do some WoW videos together. I told him I would do them, but I know they won't be popular. But he wants to do them sometime over the Christmas break. But he was saying this Overwatch game, he just loved it. It was like Team Fortress 2, but rounds last 5 minutes, and you get to play a class, and it was like a more League of Legends style class, a class with a little bit more depth in it. I don't want to say depth, a little more. I don't want to say this compared to TF2, but I don't really know how to explain the difference between TF2. I haven't played the game, but what I do know is that game they didn't say anything. They didn't talk about pricing, did they? They didn't talk about how you get heroes, but I mean, if you look at the market, it's very clear what they're gonna do. That game is gonna be free to play, and it's gonna work exactly like those the models we're seeing, like from the MOBAs community. And you could be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna play it. I hate those games." But it's like I said, I personally think you're allowed to think whatever you think by all means. But I think that is the smartest thing. I think maybe they'll still charge $50 because they're Blizzard and they can. But then again, they didn't charge for Hearthstone, and they're not going to charge for Heroes. So we'll see. For the love of God, man, I really hope they get off this daily quest thing. If there's one thing I don't like about that company Blizzard is that they have this daily quest boner, and I don't like it. You know, when I log into my I actually had to decide. I talked to Nisfin about this, and I said to Nisfin, I'm like, Nisfin, here's the thing, okay? I could go do my daily quest in Hearthstone, but I would hate them because they would make me play. I would want to log on and I want to go play this deck I made today. That's what I want to do. But I don't have a daily quest for that. I have a daily quest to go win 5 games as Warlock. Not even play 5 games. I have to win 5 times because I have to try hard and make a proper deck or look up a proper deck to do it. To do this stupid quest to make my 50 gold. When all I want to do is play the game. So I could go and how much time do I have to play Hearthstone tonight? I have 2 hours before I'm going to bed. So I could try and do this stupid quest for 2 hours, fail and be at 3 out of 5, or I could say fuck it and just spend $5. Maybe that is a marketing strategy they have, because it works for me. I'm just like, fuck you guys, your daily quest. I'm not doing this. But I hate it. I hate it. Like in Heroes of the Storm, I just stopped doing my daily quests. I was just like, I'm fucking done with this. I don't even care. Fuck this. If I want to play this game, I'm going to play this game. I don't want to do your damn quest. So I hope they get off that train. Like, I don't mind if they want me to log in daily and just play the game 3 times. That would be cool. Oh, God. Play 3 times, you get 100 gold. Oh, my God, thank you. Please just stop calling them quests. Make me do them. Dear Willy Willikers, what I'd really like to know is how you met all the Buffalo Wizards and people like Gary. Is it with 2 A's? It is with 2 A's. That's really all. Signed Derpley. By the way, if I ever just answer the same questions over and over again, I apologize. It's because I answer these questions over and over again at different, like, when I'm talking to fans in different communities, so I never remember if I recently answered it or what have you. I met Costar because he was an asshole way back when, and then I re-met him in TTT and he was less of an asshole, so I started to like him a little bit more. We have the same ideologies in YouTube and how we approach making YouTube content, so we absolutely get along really well, which is why I invited him to the Buffalo Wizards. Basically, me and Co really like lying to each other in games where we get to lie to each other, so that's our bond. No, the reason why I said Co's an asshole is because, like, the first time I met him, it was like over some drama from a Dutroid map. I asked Dutroid for permission to use her map for the PML, and when I asked permission, I also asked if I could modify it because I was balancing her 16v16 map for 4v4, and she said yes. And then like a month later, she got upset and sent her fans after me. saying like, I didn't have permission to use this map and stuff, and so we eventually just removed her map from it. But it was the first time I met costar. Just through that community. Deadbones was actually a fan. Deadbones used to watch my stream back when it was like 300 people. One day, I guess I invited him to a call or something. We started doing things and did some more things. I did some more things, and that's all. Just kind of knew him by knowing him. Honor was also a fan. He used to, when I used to stream Pokemon, he used to be the guy who would keep the spreadsheets for all my Pokemon when they died and clips and stuff, so we could keep track of it all. Eventually, I just straight out of the blue asked him, hey, would you like to learn how to become a video editor? Because he was already really good at cataloging some things like that, and he did. And so I taught him how to do some editing. Then he was kind of a natural at it. Shared more of my secrets, all that stuff, and that's where I met Honor. I've known Justin for since I was maybe 17 or something. Justin was kind of a friend of a friend. Justin sucks at video games, so I didn't like Justin when I was younger. I played a lot. There were some games I played with him that were fun, but if it was a competitive game, I was like, oh, fucking Justin. Probably still true to this day, but I did know that Justin was good company, and it was lots of fun. And so the Buffalo Wizards is not about being good at video games. I'm not even really sure if I'm good at video games anymore. I might just be falling off. Everyone always tells me how bad I am these days. I might have become that. When I was younger, I was just like, I'm always going to be good at video games. What are people talking about? But maybe I am. The kids these days are just more skilled than me. With that said, with all that said, I'm still especially things like Minecraft, man, I can control my character fairly well. I'm pretty sure if I did any of those Race for the Wool maps or something, I could be a force to be reckoned with. But we'll see. Who was I on? Justin. Kyle, I met him at the PlayOnCon convention this year. He was, Paz brought him along, and he was good company. Paz wanted to really get him into YouTube, but he couldn't really bring him in through Minecraft. So, I thought it was good company. I needed another body because I wanted more people for some of the projects we were working on. Funny enough, a lot of the projects we were working on, like the League and the WoW stuff, didn't even pan out. But, no, Kyle's just a generally good guy. And once I started doing co-ops with him, he really just he grows on you. He really adapted well. That's really the biggest thing I looked for was people who meshed well. Because honestly, just being there, and if you can just kind of fit in, just works out for the group. A lot of you guys have social disabilities. I get a lot of emails from people who have social disabilities who tell me that my videos help them with their social disabilities. And funny enough, when I'm looking for people that have the Buffalo Wizards, I specifically look for people without those social disabilities. I have no idea where I was going with this point. I just ripped on a good portion of my fans. I'm sorry. No, I look for a lot of people who just mesh in with this group, and I can't. I don't think I can salvage this, guys. I've fucking wrote myself into a corner with this. I don't know what tangent I was going on. All I can do now is just apologize and move on. I wasn't trying to say anything. I don't know where I was going with it. That's, well, all the good favor, by the way, the good favor I've done by streaming on Christmas is gone. It's gone. It's just gone. There's the door. I'm glad it helps you guys, but I cannot relate. I'm sorry. Oh, I can relate. No, I'm not telling that story. God damn, I'm out. All right, next question. I can't save myself. Dear Willie, does your mom watch your videos? What does she think if she does? No, of course she doesn't watch my fucking videos. My mother doesn't get YouTube. I hope she's not watching. My mother doesn't watch things on YouTube. She watches my videos when I show them or my family show them, but she's not a YouTube person. You have to understand that, if you're not a person who watches YouTube all the time. Of course, she's not going to watch my videos. She watches, whatever's on Netflix. She's a Netflix person, right? Now, obviously, you can be both and things like that, but I showed my mother the Played It for the plot video. She thought it was very funny. She laughed lots, so... My mother's very down to earth. She also has no social disability. I should just take a break. Alright. Dear Rob, have you thought of doing a line of 3D printed lords? You could use the sandstone style 3D printing of computer craft turtle on my desk for a year. It's awesome. Never doing merchandise. Never. Not worth it. Eventually, I'll let other companies do merchandise for me, but there's no way. Oh God. So the thing is with social disabilities is everyone always has to tell me they have them. If you didn't ever fucking tell me, I wouldn't even notice, okay? Because I'm the type of person, if I'm in a room, okay, and I'm talking to you, I'm going to make you feel comfortable. That's probably why you enjoy my videos. A lot of the guys I hang out with, they're the exact same way. I don't didn't even know things like Asperger's and all this stuff existed growing up, right? It all makes sense now. Like, there's all these people where I'm like, oh, that's what that was. I didn't even fucking notice it. If you don't ever, but everyone now has to tell me. In the last 5 years, something's happened. Everyone always has to they have to announce it. You don't have to announce it. Well, I guess some of you actually have to announce it. That's part of the disability. But you should try to restrain that disability and just act completely normal, and I'll never fucking notice, and I'll treat you just like every other human being, because that's what I do. And you won't be uncomfortable around me unless I start making this conversation happen. But outside of this conversation, you'd be completely fine, because you're a cool cat. That's it. That's all. It's true, man. Like, this last couple of years, everybody always telling me they have a social disability, and I don't have a response to that. Like, what's my response? That's great. Oh, shit, you can't say it. That's something. Oh. I hope this is entertaining for you guys. I feel like I'm just digging a deeper grave. It's just making everything worse. If you answered my earlier question, I didn't get the answer. I had to go. So if you can reply to my answer, thanks and Merry Christmas. I don't know where the fuck you're... Dude, there's so many emails in here. It's not even like I'm clicking them in order. I'm just randomly clicking ones I haven't clicked before. Oh. I get all these angry emails. Rob, I really liked your show until you started talking about people with social disabilities. And I realized you must also have a social disability because you won't stop talking about it, Rob. If you just stop talking about it, chat would forget. But the thing is, chat will never forget. They're going to put it in quotes. They're going to say, Rob hates people with social disabilities. And they're going to put it in quotes, but they're going to quote the whole thing, and they're going to slap on 2015, even though it's not 2015. That way they can make it more relevant next year. Hey Rob, first of all, Merry Christmas. In the past few months, you have slowly made your way into being a role model for me. That is terrible, Sierra. Did you not? I just went on a tangent about how I hate people with social disabilities. I am a terrible role model. I always tell people, there's people who always say, like, oh, Rob, you're a role model. I'm like, dude, I really should be a role model. I'm a terrible person to be a role model. One of the reasons why I started trying to make my YouTube way more positive and just, let's be positive all the time. Let's not put up content that's negative. Let's just do positive and funny and laughs and make everyone feel comfortable. Like, I don't care about your race, your sex, your preference, how many social disabilities you have. It doesn't give a shit to me. It's irrelevant. Do you like video games? Cool. Do you like laughing? Cool. That's it. But I've also realized that people do look up to me as a role model, and even though I constantly say things like, I'm not a role model, I the reason why I've tried to change a little bit is because I probably should act like one. Now, mind you, I still say my channel is an adult channel. I'm not going to not say swear. I'm not going to not swear like a pirate or any stuff because, to be honest, if I had a child, if I had a kid, that's how I would act around them. And you could be like, that's irresponsible, but I don't believe it. Like, language is whatever to me. That's not the. When I was young, nobody ever taught me what maturity is. Maturity is not telling dick jokes, okay? Maturity is not being above dick jokes, okay? That's what people told me. You're being very immature. Because I'm telling a dick joke? No. What maturity is knowing when it's socially acceptable to tell dick jokes. Nobody fucking told me that. I wish I knew that in grade 3. That's all I needed to know. You know? Maybe I shouldn't make jokes about dicks and butts and girls' no-no places in class. But at recess, no, that's free ground. I should be allowed to make those jokes. And nobody ever explained that to me. That's like what maturity actually is. It's just knowing when it's appropriate to make jokes about wieners. I got one sentence in this email and then I went on a tangent. Hey Rob, first of all, Merry Christmas. The past few months, you've slowly made your way into being a role model for me. Okay, look, I'm not a role model. Apparently you missed that whole tangent about penis jokes. The way you manage to express yourself and the way you think about certain things are, in my opinion, very fascinating. Oh, great. Am I a role model or a test subject here, Sierra? What's going on with this? It's fascinating. Fascinating is a word you only use when you're doing research, okay? Sierra, you need to be a little bit mature when using the word fascinating. The only time you ever say someone is fascinating is when you think they are a very good research subject. Imagine if you're on a date with a boy, okay, and you're talking about your job, and he goes, "That's fascinating." I bet you that rubs you the wrong way. You might think it's not going to rub you the wrong way, but just you wait. Just you wait till you're talking about like, "Oh man, my hair today, it's just really crazy." That's fascinating. So you can't use that word. That is only for when you're talking about like pet turtles and their interactions with different types of chemicals in water. The way you manage to express yourself and the way you think about certain things, in my opinion, very fascinating. God damn it, that is very fascinating. Why did I go on a tangent about that? Now, I'd love to ask my role model a question. What would you do differently if you know nobody would judge you? That's a very interesting question. In fact, it might even be fascinating. Nothing. When I was young, I learned very quickly about the whole... You know how people always say, be yourself? Yeah, you actually should just do that. That's unless you're a bad person, then you shouldn't be yourself. When I was younger... honestly, up until about 2 or 3 years ago, I used to think I was an evil person. Okay? I want you to understand this. I used to think things like, so what if there was a magical genie, okay? And the magical genie made you a magical god, and you could do anything. What would you do with it? And I would think, I would rule all of humanity. They would all be my slaves. Kind of like I got a lord's, right? That's kind of that's what I would do. I would rule the peasants. I would be above them. I'd smite people. I wouldn't care about them. I would treat them like ants. That's how I used to think. Now I've decided that while that is still true, I would be nice to the ants. You know? I'd give them lots of sugar. I'd make it so the ants live in better homes. They don't have to live in the ground. You know, you can live in this premium dirt. You know, we're going to get you a second queen. That way you get twice as many workers. You know, you won't even need guard ants. The red ants, dead. So, yeah. Being a better Hitler. That would be I'm just feeding quotes to chat today. That's all we're doing. We're just feeding quotes to chat. I'll give them so many quotes that they won't even be able to quote it anymore. They'll just be like, I'm done. You can't quote it. You might as well just quote anything. Rob's probably said it. But no, I don't really think about how somebody would judge me to decide something. The reason why is because I'm a very public figure. Um, you know how everybody is really concerned about internet privacy, but I'm not, because nothing I do is private. I kind of have to accept that one of these days, like, people will find out what pornography I look at. And that's just gonna happen. Okay? One of these days, something's gonna get leaked, and people are gonna be like, look at this. This is the type of titties Rob likes to look at. You know? I didn't think this was the type of guy he was, but it is. And once you kind of realize that you probably have zero privacy in your life, you don't really worry too much about people judging you about anything. I've gained a lot of weight this year, and I would like to lose that because people will judge me for it. And I know that, you know, for what I do, it would be better if I just looked more attractive. It's like I tell Spid all the time to play up he's an attractive man. So, you know, Spid, you know, show them guns off to the ladies on the webcam. You know why? People like them. You're a handsome fellow. You know, that is an asset for you. You should definitely use your ass. It's for the YouTube, because people like that. People like if the YouTubers, you know. The funny thing is, to look attractive, half the time isn't even really about, like, you know, this jeans are a big thing, but most of it's just fucking putting on clothes properly and brushing your hair and, like, not eating that bag of Doritos. You do those things, pretty much everyone's an attractive human being. Except Deadbones. He's just awkward looking. He doesn't have a social disability, he's got a physical disability. His face. Dear Rob, why don't you upload Pokemon Rob channel anymore? It doesn't make sense to have multiple channels. I don't plan on doing a lot of Pokemon content, so it doesn't make sense to have a dead channel. So any Pokemon stuff I do, I'll probably put on Bruce Willikers, but I'm probably only going to play the new game every year. I might do other stuff for fun, but it'll just be whenever I feel like doing it instead of trying to do regular content. Having fun, chat? Can you upload a paceman of the generating characters and info stuff? I will. I'm going to do another stream where we mess with this stuff. I'm going to do a stream where I kind of show how to make some of the art for stuff, because I would like it if you guys are able to just make this stuff yourself. So when it's all done, I'll give you guys access to all the stuff I made, just so if you want to mess with it or play it among friends or whatever, you can. Oh, dude, you're fly hacking in Lords. What do you think, I don't pay attention? It's terrible, man. I was just like flying around and I caught him. I love you, Rob. P.S. Can you tell us how to grow into a strong and handsome Willy such as yourself? Stay off soda when you're younger. I actually have a really bad addiction to caffeine, and I typically drink lots of Coca-Cola. And man, like, I don't eat a lot, but that stuff is terrible for you. It's delicious and it's worth it. It's terrible. You know, it's just, I don't even think I can get addicted to anything else. Man, like, you could probably just shoot me up full of anything, and I'd just be like, oh, I need a Coca-Cola. Or maybe a latte. Oh, put in an espresso shot of my latte. Yeah. I will never do any of those hard drugs, though. No fucking way. Not for me. Dear Willie, what advice do you have for being a first-time programmer like me? I'm learning Java, and I'm still a teenager. Just do whatever the hell you want. Every programmer, or especially game programmer in the world, will have a folder of a bunch of projects they never finished. Try to save that folder. You will want to look at it 10 years from now. I still wish I had Duckscape. Duckscape was an MMORPG I made with my brother Danny, where you played as duck, and you could fight other ducks. And while it would be no use to me at all having it now, I still wish I had everything because it was amusing. Um, it was actually kind of funny. Basically, it was a 2D world, and you were ducks, and you could fight other ducks, and you could be a pirate duck, and I think one duck was called a Mameluke. It was like a Saracen duck. Anyway, but the screen was kind of like Pac-Man style, where if you went all the way to the right, you would go to the left, and so there was always doors, and so like it was always like a circle in the battlefield. It was really fun to like fight people in PvP. I enjoyed it when I was a kid. Dear Rob, do you ever miss editing and the back end stuff that you used to do but don't have time for it? You know, Hunter, if you're listening, I'm just gonna tell him. I still do some editing from time to time. Don't get me wrong, Hunter does probably most of it. Um, but some things I do editing. It's mostly because while Hunter is very good at editing, he still is learning a lot of the comedic timing for stuff. Like played it for the plot. That was just completely my work. I wasn't going to tell anyone, but I guess it's just this question. It doesn't really matter. Me and Hunter are a team, so we work as a team. So I really don't care if Hunter gets credit or I get credit or what have you. But it was one of those for that series. I specifically was like, I'm going to do it differently because I wanted to overdo it. I was curious about just trying to overdo some of the editing and some different things that I wanted to do. Um, so I always still do editing when it makes sense for me to do. But a lot of times I just give it to Haunter because he will do things that I wouldn't bother doing. If I was editing those TTT videos, I would never do a montage. One of the benefits of having Haunter actually be a person and the fan base knowing he's a person is because it allows us to do things like, say, Haunter put this in and then he does something funny. What was it? What was it? I was talking about Haunter, and he's like an old grandpa, he's going to be dead soon, and he put up a tombstone. Like, I wouldn't have done that because that conversation could not have possibly happened if he didn't exist and there was no editor. So, like, honestly, I've told other YouTubers this, but, and a lot of them always say, like, they enjoy the editing process, and they're full of shit. Some of them do, but a lot of them are just bullshitting because they think other people won't be able to edit their movies. It's like an ego thing. They think like some people like there's a couple of YouTubers that really think that everything they do in their videos is perfect and nobody could possibly do it better. And it's bullshit because I know that while Hunter might not do everything exactly how I would do them, he more often than not makes it way better than I possibly could. There's many episodes that the reason why the episode is memorable is not because of anything I or any of the other people did in the video, but because what Hunter did in the editing room. So, like Hunter